now day 4 of the Cape Raft Trail. In the last 3 days we've had sun, scenery and great times. We've also seen rain, bogs and difficult navigation. We now sit camped in the middle of Knoydart. To give you a rundown of how I am, the mood is great, camping here has been fantastic, however blisters are forming on my feet and the forecast, which was to clear, is now continuing with more rain. My next steps take me to Barrisdale and Kinloch Hourn, crossing over a high mountain pass and a long section along Loch Hourn. Join me as we attempt to tackle the Cape Raft Trail. The river continues up. Another possible campsite, maybe a bit boggier. And I know from watching YouTube the path gets very treacherous. Some people have gone that way because there is a footpath that seems to just continue along. So it's worth checking your maps, checking the guidebook the night before, because I believe that this tiny cairn and a faint path is the beginning of a zigzag up this very steep hill, and it's easy to see why people continue on, because there's no way you would look at this and think I'm going up there. I can tell you from here at the bottom looking up, it looks pretty impossible, but we're walking slow today. We're up and out early, so we're just going to plod up the hill. I think I'm going to have to open up all of the vents to let the heat out because it's raining but very warm as well. Yeah, I'll give you a shout at the top. I'm up at about 300 metres now, and that little bit down there is just about where I was camped last night, at the base of this massive mountain. It's spectacular views, but as you can see, it is raining. It's nice that the navigation today, very simple. There's an old track, old path here. The rain is now picking up, so I'm just readjusting the waterproof, making sure it's kind of everything's done nice and tight now, because going downhill now shouldn't be as hot. Other than that, feeling good. Looking forward to getting down. Should be nice and early, and then the trek along to Kinloch Hourn. It's interesting being up at the tops and just getting a feel for what it might be like tomorrow. Hopefully the forecast is a bit better tomorrow, because we go a little bit higher up. I think we're at about 500 metres today, and we go up to about 700 metres tomorrow. So we're going to be just about at the sort of in the cloud layer. We're up there in the moment, but visibility's not too bad. But you can see higher up. I'm quite glad the wind is not too strong. The rain seems bearable. There's about 5 to 7 mile per hour winds, so it doesn't feel too bad. We shall plod on slow and steady down the hill. clouds just lifted. I've like all day been just walking through the cloud basically with no visibility, and it's just sort of started to lift up, which is nice. I got an updated forecast and I think there's some very heavy rain tonight, but not much wind. So I'm going to walk into Kinloch Hourn, have a rest, and then Kinloch Hourn's round the corner here, and the path continues up to here. I might just try and get as far ahead as possible. That's a serious climb up out of Kinloch Hourn. I think because it's a track, you think you should be walking faster on it, so you're constantly trying to speed up, and I just had to keep getting myself to slow down because there's one bit literally like a bloody scramble on your hands and knees. It's nice to get a look back there at where we've come from today. Not really seen that much on the walk, where you can actually look back and say, hey, I was there at 4 hours ago, walking along that coastline, looking up this hill thinking there's no way I'm getting up there, but just keep plodding along and get there. I'm just trying to get up. I've heard that there's a camp spot in the loosest terms near the river, and I'll head up there, have a look. If I see anything good along the way, I might just camp there. I feel like I've got the bulk of the climb done, ready for tomorrow's attempt at the Forecan Ridge, and then down into Shiel Bridge, where we hopefully get a burger and chips. First proper meal in 5 days, and then I'm booked into the campsite, so a shower and hopefully get all the electronics charged up. There's a little sort of, what is it, there's a little sort of stoker's hut here. A lot of people, well, some people stay in it. It's interesting reading all the little names and dates of people that have stayed in it. But I think I'll take my chances in the tent. It's quite drafty in there, so I think I'd rather just be in my tent. And we've got a fairly serious river crossing, and my thinking is to do the river crossing just now so that I can sleep well and I don't need to worry if it rains and rains all night, because the river crossing is done. It's been dry now for a couple of hours, so hopefully the river's gone down a bit. But I'll put the camera away, I'm going to unbuckle the bag and then go for the crossing. It's quite a relief to be over, and now that I've crossed it, it was about knee-high water. I'm actually quite glad I've done that now, because that would be the start of my day tomorrow with soaking wet shoes. I mean, they're going to be wet anyway, but at least I can get a chance to dry them out. Here's a little area that I've spotted to camp at. There's definitely, it's very wet, but we'll take it. Not gonna complain. It's about 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning on day 5. Feels like a very good morning. I delayed setting, well, I say delayed setting off, slightly readjusted. Usually I have breakfast on the go, and the forecast was for dry all day today. Well, dry for my walk today. Hopefully dry until about midday or so. And when I woke up, when the alarm went off at 5, there were still some showers. So I decided to have coffee, breakfast, which meant I could take some ibuprofen as well, and just made sure everything was packed away and set up right, and then set off. Of course, the forecast is never 100%. You can probably see behind me the clouds coming in again. I had to go out for a toilet break at about 3 in the morning. The clouds are way up, much better visibility. There's still just these showers passing through, so there's another one coming just now. Hopefully this is the last one, then we get a break for the day. It would be nice to have visibility. Yeah, so we're heading up to the Forecan Ridge, and if the cloud comes down and it's poor visibility, I think it's proper map and compass time, and really being quite careful where I'm going. So that's why I was quite glad to see that the forecast was a bit more decent today, and it improves slowly over the next couple of days, and we may even get some sunshine. Don't know beyond that, because it is just changeable at the moment. It's deceiving time wise. I'll sometimes think I don't deserve a break yet, I don't deserve to sit down, and I'll check the watch and I've been walking for 3 or 4 hours. Time is very fluid out here, and some points of your day can take very long, and other points of your day whiz past. Let's push on Forecan Ridge, and then quite a long descent, I think. The ups are always easier. It's the descents that get you, and you think you put all the effort in to get to the top of something, and then it's these boggy descents. Hopefully it's not raining today. Fingers crossed. For the first time on the trail, sort of proper pathless terrain, but actually I'm quite enjoying it. Walking at a slow pace. Every now and then you just see a bit where other people have walked, and you get a nice little reminder that you're heading the right way. But no one's really, or there's no point following any tracks, because they're just absolute bog, and I think it's probably better spreading out a bit and not causing a massive scar through the landscape here. We've maybe done an hour or so walking. Can just see the Bielak, which we're heading up to, and it is slow going. It's not too tough. This bit, I think it gets steeper from here up to there. It's quite a steep climb. On the OS maps it looks very simple, but up ahead is just looks like a mad boulder field. I'm trying to find any sort of path, and it's hard to know what's the best way to go. There's some bits and pieces of path, so I will follow them as best I can. We're at 630 metres, so it's only about 100 metres to go. It's not far. Just have to push on and go for it. The cloud just lifted a tiny bit, revealing this mad ridgy sort of rocky mountain up there. I don't know the names. I'm not going up to the top of it, but just passing around the side of it. But it looks crazy. Seeing it revealed from through the clouds. I mean, not seen that much today this morning yet, and then the cloud just lifts a little bit and the whole mountain's not there yet, but there's just rocks poking through. Really, really crazy. I think I'm gonna push on now, last little bit. That was a tough climb, but I think we're still early, maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock, and now it's downhill to Shiel Bridge. I'm sure that will still be a slog, probably a hell of a slog, so we'll just crack on with that and just keep dreaming of cheeseburger. But it is, even though it's cloudy up here, absolutely spectacular. One last look goodbye towards Kinloch Hourn. You can just see the path. Maybe you can't, because you can just see the path along the hillside there. I think we go down to this lump here and then down to the left. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be up here in lots of cloud, that's for sure. So I'm going to keep cracking on. There's a bit of rain coming. What a nice day to be in a campsite. Some pleasant facilities there, nice hot showers. Did a little bit of laundry just in the sink with my soap. There was washing machines and stuff, but they didn't have their own soap for them, so just used just on what I can, showered that. Dried a lot of stuff out. There was a drying room, so the shoes are dry, the socks are dry, and it's a nice fresh start again. Resupplied though, so now the bag is back to being quite heavy again. I've given my feet a serious wrap and sort of used Compeed. I've got a few blisters, so the next 5 days is a shift of attitude towards protecting my feet and possibly walking slower and maybe taking more days if necessary. Trying to get the shoes off in the middle of the day and let the feet dry out. There's a lot of factors I think in the last couple of days that have led to blisters, but the conditions have been absolutely soaking, so I don't know if that's just the main cause of it. And then because I've had more than expected, I'm running low on Compeed. I thought I'd be able to resupply in Shiel Bridge, but I couldn't find any. I bought some different brand sort of blister plasters, and I've got some tape, various different tapes. So I've wrapped the feet up as best that I can. I'm hoping tonight that maybe I can leave some of those on. I have been changing them out each night. I'll just have to see, because the conditions are so wet, everything's just mush in the evenings, including my feet. I think today it gets boggy again, so we might have a similar issue. We'll just have to wait and see. And I think there's a river crossing, so the boots will be full of water. But 2 wet days, 2 cloudy days, and then 2 very sunny days coming up. So if we can make it to the sunny days, we might have a good chance for better walking conditions and help the feet dry out a bit. I won't need to wear waterproofs and the shoes can air out and things. I'd kind of planned for this before I set out, but I put in alternate routes for this middle section because I initially planned some very long days, and so now I'm just going to break it up, stay in or next to some bothies. There's another possible campsite, and we're going partly the scenic way and then partly a very easy, in the guidebook it says the sore leg detour, so I think we've earned that, and we can always come back. I'm doing the alternate route round the falls of Gloomy because I'm not confident in my abilities going around it. There's a serious drop. It's the largest waterfall drop in the UK, and there's lots of caution about it in the guidebook, and I'm not the best at heights, and it says if it's wet, if it's windy and it's damp, I think normal, I think for someone else it would be fine today, but for me, I've been thinking about it for the past 3 days or so, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm happy not going to it. I can live with coming back another day to see it without the big bag, and we'll just have to miss that out on the Cape Wrath Trail. I think it's something a lot of people do, so yeah, it's a shame to miss it, but it would be a shame to get into difficulty, get stuck and not enjoy myself walking along a path with very steep drops. Might not be the spectacular falls of Gloomy, but there's something very beautiful and peaceful up here, very peaceful up here, and just a sort of quiet moment to ponder as you walk over this Bhuidhe and down to begin the next leg of the journey today. It's another point on the trail that feels very remote. Obviously this is the bypass, so not many come this way. There's sort of a quad bike track and the occasional footprint, but that's all. And the falls are just on the other side of this hill here. I'm just heading in this direction, and then it's quite a steep downhill. River crossing or bog crossing. I'll try and find somewhere to cross. If you come the bypass, then you get treated to a little smaller waterfall. Not quite as big, but there's a little waterfall there. Just about to begin the descent. There's not much path, but it makes for quite a fun sort of day. Trying to pick your route gives you something to think about other than sore feet. That was quite a wild descent down off of the hill there for a bypass that avoids the tricky section. I've got no idea what the trickier section's like, if that's the bypass. Yeah, bit of difficulty finding the path at first, so it was all kind of a bit of navigating using the phone. Eventually found the path, and then it was a bit easier to follow that down, but it was still a long descent, and quite a big descent. And next challenge, unfortunately when you come this way, there's no bridge to cross the river, so I'm going to look for the best spot to cross and maybe try and pack the shoes as best I can so that they're not going to get much water in. I'll see what I can do. I had 2 spare bin bags, so let's see how this goes. Quite a climb from the falls up to the Bothy. I think I'm still not quite at the summit yet of the Bhuidhe, and then there's some downhill to the Bothy. I think we're going up to about 400 or 500 metres. Certainly feels like we've gone up a long way. You can see the mountains in the distance behind. It's a nice track though, sort of 4x4 track, dry and easy to walk on, so that's quite nice. I don't know how long that'll last though, but I think it's about 3 or 4k left to get to the Bothy, so we should be there in good time to have dinner, set up the tent, get all cosy and get recovered. nice sight to see the Bothy. It's been a long time approaching it and not having it in sight. The feet are aching, the belly's grumbling. I want to get tent put up next to it and get dry socks on and get dinner on. Okay, let's have another map time. Starting day 4, we got up from the really amazing campsite and headed along the River Carnac. This was the tricky bit to spot, which I'd marked on the map for myself to remember, where we headed up and over to Barrisdale Bay. Very soggy day, very wet day, heading along the river and into Kinloch Hourn. There was the option to camp here. I think it was about 3 or 4 o'clock. It was quite a long day, and I sat here for a bit, really tempted to stop here, but I pushed on. This is incredibly steep to get up out of here, and then you're onto this sort of boggy and then area across the river here, where there's just a small area that you can camp at. It is wet, so if the ground is soaking wet, you might find it difficult finding somewhere here. Day 5 gave us a head start on day 5, and we're already up into the hills. You can see from the map here that this starts to go off-road here, and this was this sort of tricky navigation up into the amazing scenery of the Fourcan Ridge, and then heading down towards Shiel Bridge. It continues on the map. Continues on the map over here. River crossing down to Shiel Bridge, where we resupplied and got the burger, and then headed along this road to the campsite. And then day 6 headed off up into the hills, and this is where I decided to take the detour around the Falls of Gloomy. It's just not quite for me. With the big rucksack and things, I think I'll come back with a smaller rucksack when I can do it at my own speed. And the path goes up here. So the path isn't marked on this Harvey map, but you can see the dashes. This is where the detour goes, and you head down this steep path here, but you have to cross this river. And then this is where you get the sort of different choices. You can head left to Strathcarron in a day, or if you head to the right this way, it's a more scenic route up into the mountains. And this is where I went, heading up this way, and we camped at Maol Bhuidhe Bothy. It was a little bit wetter and windier than I expected when I got here, so I decided to spend the night in the Bothy. It's a really nice Bothy inside, with separate rooms for you to sleep in. So there was 3 separate rooms, so it gives you a chance to get somewhere to spend the night and a little bit more comfortable. Absolutely amazing scenery, but it was really cloudy and really sort of misty, and couldn't see much, but just the absolute sense of being up in the mountains and in this Bothy. And that was my first Bothy experience as well, so that was really cool. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've been enjoying, and stick around for episode 3, hopefully coming out soon, where we continue towards Kinloch and Ullapool.